Well,
And when that weasel accountant McFly went and blabbed to the feds, did the Sacramento boys help me get rid of the evidence? No!
but,
I had to put 3 more cops on my payroll to pull that one off.
okay, but...
But nothing. When you get back to Sacramento, you let J.J. Valenti know that Kid Tannen expects a little more respect for his efforts in the future. Understand?
No problem, kid. Where do you think McFly ran off to?
I don't know, and I don't care.
That's a nice place you got here.
Ain't it? I picked out all the statuary myself when I was traveling through Greece.
I can tell. It's got that Tannen touch.
Thanks.
What's that Wall of Fame all about?
That, my tiny friend, is where I pay tribute to fallen foes. Cut short in the prime of life before I had a chance to cut it short myself.
They're the guys you've whacked.
Not in any legally actionable sense, no.
See ya, kid.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, kid.
What is it, Squirt? Whacked? Whacked. I like that.
Rubbed out. Can't you just go into the courthouse to get Einstein?
If I still had my job as a clerk, sure, but lately a lot of evidence has gone missing, so they've installed new locks. Now the place is sealed up tighter than my dad's wallet.
Isn't there a ladder on the side of the courthouse we can use?
They tore down the ladders after a rash of jumping incidents in '29. Bad for civic morale, they said.
Why don't you take a break from Einstein Patrol for a minute? Maybe go see a movie or something.
Thanks for the offer, Mike. But once Emmett Lathrop Brown sets his mind on a task, nothing can distract him from his purpose. And right now, that purpose is rescuing your dog. Thanks for the offer, Harry. But once Emmett Lathrop Brown sets his mind on a task, nothing can distract him from his purpose. And right now, that purpose is rescuing your dog. Thanks for the offer, Sonny. But once Emmett Lathrop Brown sets his mind on a task, nothing can distract him from his purpose. And right now, that purpose is rescuing your dog.
What went wrong with your rocket car?
I'm not entirely sure. As soon as we get Einstein down, I'm gonna go look for it.
Why don't you go look for your car now?
And leave Einie stuck on a ledge? Never! Dogs are much more important than any silly rocket car, especially one that doesn't work at all.
What's up with you and Edna? A couple months ago, I could swear she was making goo-goo eyes at you.
That was before my father had her Stay Sober Society meeting thrown out of our house. Now she takes every opportunity she can get to snipe at me and my work. It's very distracting.
Yeah, funny. So you and Edna have been talking a lot?
More like debating. Endlessly debating.
Ouch.
You know what's strange? Edna and I have lived in Hill Valley all our lives, but until you introduced us, I don't think we've ever said 2 words to each other. Funny, isn't it?
Just so we're clear, you and Edna aren't, dating, are you?
Oh, good Lord, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. Miss Strickland's an attractive woman with many fine qualities, but she's far too stubborn and controlling for a dreamer like me.
Good.
And on top of everything else, she keeps distracting me from my work. Who could put up with a woman like that?
So what are you and Edna arguing about?
Oh, the usual. Proper role of science in society, whether a rigidly defined morality has any place in a relativistic universe, that sort of thing.
Right. Do you know anything about Officer Danny Parker?
My pop says he's a good cop when he's not drinking.
Good.
Of course, now I hear he drinks all the time.
You know anything about Trixie Trotter?
The songbird of the Sierras? The nightingale of the north? The floozy of the foothills? Never heard of her. And I've definitely never snuck into Tannen's speakeasy to listen to her.
Have you seen that Frankenstein movie yet? I hear it's pretty inspirational.
Not yet. I've been so busy with my rocket car that I haven't found the time. But I'm planning on going tonight. At least I will once I get Einstein down.
So you're really going to see Frankenstein tonight? I'd hate for you to miss it.
Oh, don't worry. Nothing in the world would keep me from seeing a movie about a mad scientist with delusions of godhood.
Cool. Well, I'll go off and see if I can get some help.
You do that. I'll stay here and see if I can think of a way to get Einie off that ledge.
Don't worry, Emmett. I'm sure you'll get it right someday.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. Right now I'm more concerned with Einstein. That woman is so infuriating.
Any luck with Einstein?
I'm still thinking about it. It's a perplexing spatial conundrum, aggravated by Einie's understandable skittishness.
Emmett.
No, time for chit-chat. I've got a rocket car to recover.
Emmett! You get down from there before you hurt yourself!
Hurt myself? You're far too cautious, Miss Strickland.
Are you sure that's safe?
Of course it's not safe. That soup kitchen he's climbing is owned by gangsters.
Stop being such chickens. See? Safe as houses.
Don't blame me if you end up dead. Oh, that man is so infuriating.
What are you doing out here in the middle of the night?
Saving people from alcohol, vice, and disorder. And also keeping a lookout for hot stories. You'd be surprised how much news breaks on this corner.
Broken any stories tonight?
Only the usual. Mayor Thomas trying to slink out of the speakeasy. Frankie Needles crashing his car into a fire hydrant. Nothing that'll get me the front page.
Any new news?
Aside from Mr. Brown trying to kill his dog and that ridiculous contraption? No.
Anything newsworthy going on?
Well, I have spotted Kid Tannen sneaking around nervously. If things don't pick up here, I may try to go ask him a few questions.
Be careful.
What's he going to do to me? I'm a reporter.
What was that song you were singing earlier?
Do you like it? I wrote it myself. It really gets the toes tapping at the Stay Sober Society meetings. Although I suppose that could be the Shakes.
Do you think I could have a copy of your You Should Care lyrics? I've got a club of my own that could really use some inspiring.
Sure. Let me just get a page out of the hymnal. There you are.
Hey, thanks. You know, Trixie Trotter sings a song that sounds a lot like your You Should Care.
She does?
Yeah, but hers is a little more carefree.
That's what you get when you sing for booze hounds and gangsters.
What's going on with you and Emmett? The last time I saw you, you seemed to be kinda interested in him.
That was before I belatedly realized that his agreement to host my Stay Sober Society was a clever ruse to ferry barrels of hooch to his so-called laboratory.
Sorry about that.
Now his very presence fills me with an irrepressible urge to pick at his philosophical and intellectual foundations with every tool in my vocabulary.
So you're not dating?
Dating? The mere thought of romantic involvement with that undisciplined techno-anarchist is preposterous.
Good. You know, you seem pretty, passionate about Emmett. I mean, considering that you don't really like him and all.
I'm passionate about everything, Mr. Corleone, even my loathing. I'm passionate about everything, Mr. Callahan, even my loathing. I'm passionate about everything, Mr. Crockett, even my loathing.
What's Kid Tannen been up to for the last 2 months?
Didn't you hear? It was in all the papers.
I've been, traveling.
Well, the feds were all set to arrest Tannen on tax evasion charges. Seems they'd gotten Tannen's books from his accountant.
I heard something about that, yeah.
Well, the accountant disappeared, unsurprisingly, but the feds still thought they had a case. After all, they still had the books, right?
Right.
Wrong. The day before the trial, the books up and vanished right out of the court's evidence locker.
No.
Lots of fingers were pointed, but honestly, the whole town's so corrupt that it could have been anyone. Court clerks, cops, janitors.
So Kid's walking around free?
Free, clear, and laughing it up in his new speakeasy. The feds want to bring a case up against him, but without those books, they've got nothing.
Couldn't Kid be brought up on other charges like, say, running a speakeasy?
In a perfect world, yes, but no one in town seems to care about prohibition anymore. The feds are only interested because of the lost tax revenue.
Do you know anything about Officer Danny Parker?
Parker? Just another soul lost to the twin vices of booze and despair. I've asked him to tell me his story for my column, sort of a cautionary tale, but he's never in the mood to talk to me.
You'll be happy to know that your lyrics have pushed Danny Parker back on the straight and narrow.
Well, hallelujah! One poor soul saved from the fiery pit.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about Trixie Trotter, would you?
Kid Tannen's latest conquest? Well, she claims to be a lounge singer from Seattle, but my sources in Washington have never heard of her. I mean, honestly, Trixie Trotter. What kind of name is that?
Whatever happened with that speakeasy arsonist?
I was about to ask you the same question.
Me?
Don't play coy with me. I may not have any journalistically acceptable proof, but I know you had a hand in Carl Sagan's daring escape from the authorities.
Didn't you think that Sagan was innocent?
I used to, but after he escaped, 2 more speakeasies were torched in Colfax and Georgetown.
That's just a coincidence.
Coincidence? Or is our friend Carl a serial arsonist?
I'm pretty sure that Carl Sagan didn't start those fires.
We'll see. One of the reasons I'm camped out so close to Tannen's new speakeasy is it gives me the chance to catch the arsonist in the act. It'll make a great story for my column.
What have you got against dogs, anyway?
They're smelly, rude, completely unable to take care of themselves, and frankly, they're not very bright. If I had my druthers, dogs would be banned from public places.
Harsh.
It's a harsh world, Mr. Callahan. It's a harsh world, Mr. Corleone. It's a harsh world, Mr. Crockett.
See ya.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Hey, Edna.
Mr. Corleone, what can I do for you? Mr. Callahan, what can I do for you? Mr. Crockett, what can I do for you?
Edna.
What? Would you like to hear it again? You say you've lost your self-respect, but you should care. It's not too late to redirect and start to care. Don't despise the good and pure. Time to rise up from the sewer. Wash off all that foul manure. Show the world you care. You should care. You should care what people think of you. Of goals that you could name, reclaiming your good name is what you ought to do. You should care, you should care. If your reputation is in disrepair, it's not going to hurt you to reclaim your virtue, for you should care. I knew if I waited long enough, somebody would request it.
Sure.
One needs a good hook if one is fishing for souls.
Catchy.
You really think so?
Yeah, it's, got a good hook to it. How's that song going over?
Oh, if only I could convince a few of these night owls to stop and listen. Would you like to hear it?
Maybe later.
I'll be here all night. Oh, what is it?
Hey, I got a hot lead for you. Kid Tannen arrested.
Oh, glorious day! When did it happen?
Well, it hasn't happened yet, but it's gonna.
Keep me posted.
Later tonight.
And the time this happened?
Officer Parker reformed.
He has? Really?
Soon. Just you wait. Uh-huh.
I'll need to get a statement. Where can I find him?
In the speakeasy. Trixie Trotter turns on Tannen.
Very alliterative. But is it true? Has she really come over to our side? It just goes to show there is hope, even for a peroxide blonde. Where can I find her for a statement?
I can't tell her that. It could get him in trouble. Young scientist strands dog on courthouse roof.
What?
Look over there.
Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, Lord.
There's a new angle on the Emmett Brown story.
What is it?
It's even worse than you thought.
Martin McFly, age 18.
Okay, Doc, let's see what kind of nightmare alternate timeline I've landed in this time.
Hill Valley under Citizen Brown is not quite the contented town you were led to believe it was.
A re-education program? What the hell?
Please don't swear, Martin. It makes me uncomfortable.
0 demerits until this morning.
We're through, McFly. I'll never date such a square again.
My own girlfriend thinks I'm a square?
The obvious question, Mr. McFly, is what happened to you?
Jesus Christ, Doc, what happened to you?
Father George, Mother Lorraine,